What's going on, boxing fans? Joan Williams with The Distance. I'm here to do part 2 of my Muhammad Ali video. I began the video with talking about Muhammad Ali in the 60s. Now I'm going to get into the 70s when he came back. And he came back in 1970 and did a few fights. And then that led up to the matchup with Joe Frazier. And this matchup was very intriguing. It was two undefeated champions, pretty much. It was a champion who never lost his belt in the ring, but had stripped away from him because he didn't fight in the war. And you had a champion who won the belt after, Muhammad Ali went to the war. So pretty much the matchup had all the makings of a classic, surrounding it. Muhammad Ali was pretty much I believe he was the underdog in the matchup, and people were rooting for Frazier to win. People were predicting Frazier to win. They said Ali missed so many years, and now he's jumping back into this top level competition. And Joe Frazier's been fighting the top dogs for the last while or so, and I just remember watching the first matchup of the Ali Frazier trilogy. No, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't born when these matchups happened. I I just happened to watch them, on ESPN Classic or on YouTube. And every time I watch the match, they just get better and better to me. Because in this matchup, you had two fighters that are basically trying to hurt each other. They're trying to knock each other out, but they can't do it because you have Ali coming back. I mean, taking steps back and hitting Frazier with all these hard shots, all these hard flurries. You could actually hear, Frazier's head or hear the punches on Frazier's head just thump, and then but you hear, Frazier's shots as well because his shots are just as thunderous. And then a pivotal moment came in the final round of the matchup when Frazier lunged forward and just put everything he had into this powerful shot that actually knocked Ali down. And it was one of those moments you could actually hear the audience. The audience were you could hear them, that you could hear their reaction, and people just couldn't believe Ali was down. People thought he was knocked out, but he got back up, fought, and fought to the end of the match, to the end of the round. And people under Ali's chin is kind of underrated. He had an amazing chin. He took some hard shots, and some pretty bad punishment in this matchup. And he went on and he fought more matchups after this. But anyway, Ali lost that matchup. But you could tell that this man had heart, and this man had determination. Though he talked a lot, of shit, he backed it up in the ring because he was tough. He was tough as well as finesse, and those combinations together make a good boxer: finesse and confidence. Finesse, confidence, determination, skill, hard work. And Ali possessed all of those. But then on to about couple years later, Joe Frazier is the champion and he takes on George Foreman. George Foreman does what Ali couldn't do. He knocks out Joe Frazier in 2 rounds. Ali couldn't even knock out Frazier until maybe the final matchup. Yeah, the final matchup against Frazier in the trilogy. And Foreman knocks out Frazier in 2 rounds. And people are in shock. They're like, wow, this guy's gonna kill Ali. Like, Ali can't beat Foreman. The matchup in Zaire happens. And pretty much for about 8 rounds, Foreman is beating Ali. He's beating him to the body. He can't even get a shot to his chin. Can't land flush on the chin. He did land a couple of shots every round to his chin, but he's really not landing any shots to the chin end. he's just going to the body, but it's not hurting Ali. He's just laying on the ropes, just waiting for something to happen. You just know something's about to happen while he's on the ropes. And, and he does the rope a little bit, and comes off the rope and comes off the ropes and knocks out Foreman. Actually knocks out the giant. He knocks out the monster, the man who pretty much knocked out a guy he couldn't knock out, over a 15-round period, in 2 rounds. Did something you couldn't even do. And that goes on to show you, style makes fights. Strategy makes fights as well. Strategy plans the fights. And eventually, George Foreman wore out, and Ali just came off the ropes and did this nice, beautiful flurry, and Foreman was down. And that's one of those pivotal moments in boxing. Same with Ali Frazier won. There were just pivotal moments, and Ali was a part of those pivotal moments in boxing. He made them pivotal. He made them significant. He made those matchups special. Say you have 2 guys who don't think highly of each other, but there's no promotion or no bad guy in the matchup, no guy talking shit or anything. Just two fighters. That doesn't lead to the type of intrigue that Ali brought to matchups. So somebody has to be the bad guy. Somebody has to be the antagonist, and somebody has to be the protagonist. But in these matchups, like with Ali Frazier, you don't know who the antagonist and protagonist is because people take different sides. And Ali did a good job playing the role of antagonist. He did a good job selling fights. But he in my book is one of the greatest boxers of all time. Though number 2 on my list, he's still perhaps one of the greatest of all time, because he had an unorthodox style for a heavyweight. A heavyweight that pretty much ran and threw these blazing fast combos and stuff. Very rare at that time. Very unorthodox. Very awkward. And I think personally that he should have quit after either the 3rd Frazier fight, or he should have quit after the Norton fight. Because, just look at him now, it's very heartbreaking, it's very sad to see him that way. But, I thought he should quit maybe after after his matchup with Ken Norton. It's the 3rd matchup with Ken Norton. But, Ali was a tough fighter. He won the world championship 3 times. He tried to win the 4th time against Larry Holmes, and it didn't happen. And basically, he fought Trevor Berbick and lost. And and that's not a good way to end your career. But I really wish Ali would end his career on a much higher note. But it happens sometimes. But he lost to Leon Spinks, who basically became a journeyman punching bag, and Larry Holmes went on to become one of the greatest champions of all time, and Trevor Berbick became a titleist. But he did avenge the loss of Spinks, win his final world championship, but after Berbick, it was over. So, but Ali will remain to be one of the sport's top names for many years and many decades to come, and he will always be an icon in the sport of boxing, or basically an icon in American sports in general, because Muhammad Ali is the definition of a legend, and he's he's one of the sports. He's basically one of the sports trendsetters as well. So that was my number two, Muhammad Ali. I hope you guys tune in tomorrow for my number one heavyweight. But anyway, that was the distance. Thank you for watching. Peace.